Batman, the Detective, issue 4.
It is indeed.
Is this a 5? Is only 5 issue? No, 6. Still 6. Okay. So this is Bruce has been arrested under the suspicion that he killed Henry Descartes. If anything, my only complaint about this little story beat is that it takes Bruce probably too long to realize that these aren't actually like agents from Interpol, and that they're actually members of the villains, and that he's been tricked. I thought, wait, how did they like bring you here? Like, what was the process? Because it feels a little bit shady.
I like it. I think the implication is he was brought here by Interpol, because they mentioned that there's when he breaks out.
So you're saying
there are actual officers there.
So this is to show how like integrated and how much power they have and how
they've infiltrated Interpol.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
I think that he is there, and I think the reason that he doesn't pick up on anything is because he's so caught up in his own thing. Like the whole thing is him talking about how, well, the easiest way to find a lot of this information is for them to just give it me. They've already done a lot of the legwork. I can just kind of pretend to answer a few questions and get the right answers from them. So he's so caught up in his investigation of getting the information that he's not focused on anything else. It's a little bit of hubris, I guess.
Yeah. So they show him crime scene photos of all these people that these villains have killed all over the UK. He recognizes probably my favorite page of this sort of section is that when they ask if he recognizes them, there's a page of him remembering. Like, yeah, he does. He says to us that he remembers them. He remembers everyone he saved, but then he says no to them. I like that beat.
Just before we do cause a slight international incident, Ireland is not in the UK. We know one of these is in Dublin.
I'll be honest, I didn't remember that one was in Dublin. I just remembered both Scotland and England, but
I think it's Scotland and Wales actually.
Yeah, it's Wales. Do you know what I think it is? I think it is. I remembered it as Scotland, England, and Wales, not Scotland, Wales, and Ireland.
Yeah, and it's specifically Dublin as well, so you can't even be like, Northern Ireland. It's like no. And I know you know that, but we do not want to cause an international incident.
Look, Ireland always gets included with the UK. It's a package deal, even if there's no actual governmental connection. Okay.
Yep.
Oh dear. Yes. Okay. Where was I? Yes. Okay. So, yeah, basically he starts to feel weak and stuff because there was something in the water they gave him. They stab him in the shoulder because they don't know he's Batman. They're killing him as someone Batman has saved.
Well, they think he might be Batman. They're like, oh, it's possible.
They considered it. Yeah.
And then they're like, nah, this was too easy. This can't possibly be Batman. Which
is almost just rubbing salt into the wounds, salt into the wounds. But if anything, my biggest complaint with this issue, which I think is perfectly fine, it's been kind of on par with what this book has been, which is Taylor's weakest work, which is still solid, but not up to his usual standard. Is that it did feel very because Batman when he's like, oh, the poison's in me, I'll just have to fight it, and I can still break these chains and stuff. I was
slow my heart rate enough that the poison doesn't spread, but have enough adrenaline going that I can break these chains.
That felt very because Batman-y to me.
It does, yeah.
So I'll say it for Matt since he's not here. And then the fact that he's able to sneak out and stuff while he's dying of poison, is kind of whatever.
Cyanide poisoning, I believe he says, right?
Yeah, he says that later. He says that when he goes to the pharmacy to grab some medication.
Yeah,
I didn't realize you could fight cyanide poisoning with stuff that you can buy in a pharmacy, to be honest. But I'll take the writer's word for it.
I actually believe it is possible. I'm sure it is.
It probably
the
is.
amount of shit that you can get in a pharmacy.
It never occurred to me that there was literally stuff you could just go to a pharmacy and get. I mean, presumably most people can't walk and need to go to a hospital and they'll deal with it, but
yeah, but the idea of those, in theory, the correct combination of drugs being available in a pharmacy is plausible.
When he passes out and maybe possibly dying, and he sees he says, "I dream of old friends, I dream of people I love, I dream of the fall," and blah blah blah. And obviously the Alfred's there, the Waynes are there, some Trinity members, and his past loves. I thought, you know what? I hate that the rest of the Bat family is kind of excluded here. Where's Dick and Babs and so on and so on. Like that shit.
He's thinking about Jason.
That shit. Jason got a spot here, right? I'm just Anyway, Squire was there to help him when he got out, and she's there when he wakes up. And she informs him that a bunch of people got killed in Belgium. They basically they shot a bunch of people at a dinner party, and then they also set fire to a building and sealed it. So he's like, okay, we need to go. We need to deal with this, and all the rest of it. He basically calls in like a secret code, for someone who Alfred was keeping in touch with to like bring him a mobile bat cave, which is like, imagine like one of those big sort of truck bus things that have got like a, I guess the realist example you can compare it to is like a TV truck that has all the TV like equipment in it, and that's where they do the control room stuff. They're in the truck.
It's plausible enough that it's one of those.
Yes.
Slapped with a bunch of armor plating on it.
Yeah, the front of it looks like a goddamn train. It looks like a big super train.
It's got a big snowplow on the front for some reason.
Yeah. Depending on where he is in Europe, is he expecting a lot of snow? I don't know.
He's in France, isn't he?
Does France get a lot of snow?
Reasonable amount, normal amount, I think.
Is it? Oh.
I mean, not the south of France. South of France is pretty nice and toasty, I believe. But
I think of France as a sunnier place, but yeah, I guess that's maybe more the more.
I think it gets sunnier, but I think it has its fair share of snow as well in the winter.
I guess that's more the touristy areas I'm thinking of, though.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I did like the fact that Alfred left a little toy T-Rex and a coin, and this mobile back.
Little pieces of home.
Yeah. And Batman's a little smirk. So Batman calls Oracle. Squire freaks out when the big hologram head.
I do like when he just starts talking like, take us out to the highway. It's why that I don't think the dinosaur can drive.
Yeah. Yeah, those fun little beats are all fine. And then he's like, Oracle, put in the call. I want all of the European Alliance of the Bat.
Just a mouthful.
Yes, it's a big mouthful. So they're calling in all these European Bat friendlies. Which I'm sure a lot of them are characters that did exist before that people who remember them will know, but I feel
I'm sure half of them will have been in like Morrison's stuff, right?
That's okay. I don't have a whole lot to say beyond what we have already.
It's a solid fun romp at this point. I don't think it's changing anyone's mind if you like it or dislike it.
Yeah. It's such an easy breezy read that it's kind of comfortable and safe, but if it wasn't Taylor's like chemistry in the characters, it probably would be like maybe in danger of being dropped just because weeks are getting busier. But
it's the sort of thing that I'm kind of sticking with it at this point because there's only 2 issues left.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it this way: if this was still running into October, I probably wouldn't be reading it in October.
So, what are you giving it? Batman Detective issue 4.
It's like a 7.
Yeah, it's 7. I'll agree with that.